Arriving at my foster father's house, I struggled to eat a bowl of spoiled rice with hungry flies buzzing around, unable to shoo them away. Later, he took me home and threw a birthday party for my 7th birthday. He said Xiao Ju's birthday is today. The foster mother, unlike others, is always part of your life. As the second child, I watched my mother's bulging belly, where they hid, longing for a son. My 10-year-old sister was reluctantly taken in by my aunt to assist with chores. As a 7-year-old, I either stayed home or wandered in the summer. My birth mother's visible pregnancy forced my parents to hide during the day in the mountains, where they quietly prepared food for me at night using bamboo leaves as plates. They were away for 2 days, leaving me starving and forced to drink a lot of cold water. Unable to endure it any longer, I gathered all the leftover morning rice, eating with chopsticks, ignoring the buzzing flies. Do you know what spoiled rice tastes like? Slightly bitter sour taste forms long strings like vomit when pulled up. My foster father watched me through the iron bars, loudly called out to me, and gave me a piece of cake, slightly bitter and melting, not much tastier than lard. Found out it was imported chocolate, very expensive. 1 piece could exchange for 2 pounds of mint candies. He taught me to draw on the ground with branches, stayed with me for 2 days, and then my birth parents returned. Inside they held the newborn brother, and the dirty and thin me said my foster parents took me away. My birth mother hesitated all night. The next day I wished my birth father was dead. Unbelievably, he gave me both chicken legs, not stewed properly, bit into them and my teeth bled. But I didn't mind. I gnawed the bones and slurped up all the broth. My birth mother touched my injured face with tears streaming down. Every family wants a son, uncles are wealthy. I give him as good, be well behaved and obedient when I go to others' homes. Clinging to my mom's legs, I cried and begged her, promising to be more present with my parents in the future. He swiftly separated my clinging legs to hold me, explaining that we couldn't afford to keep my brother with us. Under the scorching sun that day, his long shadow tightly enveloped me. Struggling to speak under a massive shadow, shivering uncontrollably, my foster dad rushed in to cover my ears tightly, keeping other kids from speaking, even though he was innocent. He lifted me onto the tall motorcycle and put the only helmet on my head. The oversized helmet resembled a swaying mountain or a giant hug. The motorcycle roared, releasing a puff of black smoke. My bio mom hugged me, offering peppermint candies. He only rewards sweets for good behavior. Don't blame mom, she has no choice. My foster father revved the throttle, facing the oncoming camera. I grabbed a peppermint candy, cool and bitter in my mouth. As a child, I couldn't comprehend why one candy was so sweet while a few tasted bitter. My foster father took me home, organized a birthday banquet, held my hand, and said, "Today is your true birthday. Every year from now on. Today is your birthday, all relatives are home." Except for my stepmom, others seem quietly pleased with me. Wearing a princess gown, holding a plastic knife, facing a 2-tier birthday cake, forcing out a smile in front of the camera. I feel like I've stolen a princess's time, anxious about being exposed when the magic fades. Sure enough, I couldn't sleep at night, hearing my stepmother question sharply whether I view her as a ridiculous woman who might be my illegitimate daughter. "You're making me act as his mother. You're going too far." Under the dim moonlight, I tightly gripped the door frame, walked to the room and opened the door. The hateful gaze fixed on me through the door slit made me too scared to go to the bathroom again, so I ended up wetting the bed. Waking up, I felt desperate as the housekeeper already dislikes me and is likely eager to be rid of me for dirtying the bed linens on the first day. At 5 in the early morning, I sneaked out of bed with the linen, stuffed it into a big bucket in the bathroom, then a cold voice asked, "What are you doing?" Terrified, I jolted back, fell hard, and got drenched. My foster mother reached out to me, and I instinctively covered my head, trembling. "Dad, please don't hit me. I promise not to wet the bed again." After waiting, a damn hand pulled me up. That's for mopping, even more exhausting than carrying water buckets in the countryside. I have to wash the sheets repeatedly. You use a double tub washing machine, but I'm clueless about operating it. From now on, you will do all the laundry at home, which is much easier than washing clothes by the river. Still, I made a mistake by mixing dark and light clothes, causing my foster mother's white skirt to become dirty. He was very angry. "Do you know the cost of this skirt? I saved for 2 months to buy it, wore it once, and you can't handle this?" My foster father unintentionally caused the issue. "Let's just purchase a new one." Foster mother became even angrier, lightly mentioning the expensive skirt. Foster father not only acknowledged it but also bought another identical one that evening and secretly placed me outside the door. He gave me the largest sugar cube in the entire supermarket in the hallway. "Hurry up and eat. Your aunt might seem tough, but don't be scared. He doesn't want your money, a little money can buy you meat. What's on your mind? Can 84 bubbles make this dress sweet and in your pocket?" My foster parents used to argue. I later understood my foster father's kind nature and romantic soul, as he is a painter. With only $20 in his pocket, he was willing to spend it all on a big tree and useless roses for his foster mother. Each day, he hopped on his motorcycle in search of inspiration. He's a handsome artist who wanders with artistic comrades, burdening his foster mother with life's trivialities. Realism and romanticism clash, making it difficult to determine right or wrong. The foster father isn't great, but he's not bad. Your foster mother finds him annoying yet charming. Being irritable all day, it even has no effect on me. I gave the big lollipop to someone who angrily slammed it to the ground and refused your candy. My foster father is restless because I stayed home over a month for my enrollment procedures. On a dark evening, he left a letter, rode his motorcycle, and began a wandering journey. My foster mother ripped the letter, pulled me by the arm, and shoved me out the door in anger. Go, just go. If he's gone, you should go too. How can I care for you properly? Dream on. On a slightly chilly night in September, the corridor lights went out. I hugged my arms, crouched by the window, gazing at the hazy moon covered by dark clouds in the sky. In my world, even the moon is just a faint, blurry glow. Not sure how long, I was almost falling asleep, holding on to detachment and disdain, looking down from my high vantage point. Come in, a steaming bowl of egg noodles with chopsticks is on the table. The foster mother closed the door to the master bedroom. My stomach growled with hunger, so I cautiously ate the noodles. My foster dad calls twice weekly to check in on me. He would share his interesting encounters, a uniquely colored flower, a smart local dog, and the most spectacular sunrise, while you would patiently listen to me talk about everyday matters. At the end, he always tells Xiaojuai to wait for uncle returning from his trip with a mysterious gift. After talking to me, Mimi hands the phone to the foster mother. Even when we're together, we're still less important than him. The foster mother treats me coldly, and my brother is very hostile towards me. We attend the same school, but I have to keep my distance due to our daily togetherness. Whenever they ask if the new little sister is yours, he always frowns and says, she's not my sister, just a girl my dad picked up. Even kids can sense emotions. Despite encouragement, as a new kid from the countryside, I'm often excluded, especially in one-on-one sports competitions. It's a bit tough, but I can handle it. After a few months, winter arrived. One morning, I noticed my stepmother seeming unwell. When softly questioned, she gazed at me with pleading eyes. I am, what? I didn't dare to ask more. Realizing I'd forgotten yesterday's homework, I turned back to fetch it. Shockingly, I found my stepmom passed out in the lounge. Despite my loud calls, she stayed unresponsive. Thoughts raced as icy winds seemed to enclose my chest. I stumbled out, banged on the neighbor's door, and Uncle Lou and Auntie rushed to drive the pickup truck, taking my stepmother to the hospital. I persisted in letting fear's tentacles tightly wrap around me, whimpering softly, tears uncontrollably streaming down, each drop hitting my stepmother's face. Not sure how long I'd been crying, I heard familiar voices. I wasn't dead yet, my stepmother was awake. My lips trembled as I sobbed. My stepmother, with tears in her eyes, softly whispered beside me, "You're fine." She didn't know, fearing he might never open his eyes again. I'm not one to be blamed without reason or point fingers at, it's all because of you. Mom was fine before you arrived, but immediately fell ill upon your arrival. Luckily, the foster mother was diagnosed with iron deficiency anemia. After receiving the infusion, my lips regained color. The doctor discharged him, and I still need to remain in bed. Auntie prepares and delivers food daily, but I can't repay my foster mother. I panicked in the kitchen and cut my hand with a fruit knife, letting drops of blood fall into Auntie's soup, making me feel a bit dizzy. At that moment, Chu-Chi roared, "Stop dripping blood into the soup. Your blood is toxic and could harm my mom." Running over, he strongly pushed me. My head hit the door handle, and I blanked out. The foster mother was alarmed too. He wrapped a tissue around my fingers first and asked coldly, "What are you doing?" I braved to look at him and said, "Uncle mentioned your illness stems from low blood count. I have excess. Can I give you some?" Tears filled my eyes. "Will you recover faster if you have my blood?" The foster mother's lips trembled and she remained silent for a while. My eyes glanced at myself. "I don't want us to be together. Don't worry, I'll just love you a bit." I showed a small distance between my thumb and index finger, gradually reducing it to a thin gap. I smiled sweetly. "May I have a little bit of it? Never loved, but can still live."